between the three of us, myself and Smith and Mighty, we have 3 individual studios because we all have kids, so we have to work at home to make it more, more efficient way of working, because we have children to look after. So we all have our different studios, and the 3 of us have different setups, but we all work in conjunction with each other, and we go from the basics, laying down the rhythm tracks, drums. But the main thing for us is hard drums, heavy bass, soulful vocals. I still use drum machines to put down drum beats, drum or I sample drum, kick drums, snare drums, and bass keyboards, to give you the nice heavy bass. I work with digital machinery. A balance of both, toughness with sweetness. Blend them together, I think, that you can marriage the two to make it sound sweet. A lot of it started for me was as a kid growing up with my parents playing old reggae music, just playing listening to old reggae music. Then as I got into my teenage years, I got involved with the whole reggae Jamaican sound system thing, which was happening in Jamaica around about 1979, 1980, 1981. And then it sort of like when the English thing was going on then as well, England started to have their reggae sound systems like Coxsone, Saxon. You had a root sound system called Jashaka. And in Bristol, where we came from, we started to have a sound system, and I was involved with that in the sound system then, MCing, getting dub plates cut, listening to people like Scientist, Mad Professor, all these kind of people. So it was like really strong influence for me way back then, the whole reggae thing.
Whoa, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I have heard some of his stuff, because a lot of the times when we're doing tours, he's on the same circuit as us, so we bump into Mad Professor quite a lot. He played in Bristol not that long ago. They had they had Scientist, Mad Professor, and someone else, I can't remember the third piece, but they were in Bristol not too long ago, and it was good. Reggae music is always there, it never goes away, it's always there. Whatever happens around it is always there. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine, but I guess that it will still keep developing in its own way. You used to have the rockers thing, you used to have the dub thing, you had now you've got the ragga thing, whatever the next move is, it's been developed right now. I think it's still finding its way. I think I can see good in it and not so good. The not so good being that, obviously certain musicians, when they make their music, they put a lot of work into it, and for everybody to get it for free and they don't get no pay, that's the downside, I think. But as a struggling musician, when I first started to make music, I would have loved something like that, to be able for everybody to hear my music is a perfect way for everybody to hear what you're doing. So I think it's still finding its way. That's the good thing about it, you can cut out the middleman. You've got all these middle people who want percentage there, and they want to control you in the middle. Then, to me, that's a good way of getting rid of all the crap in the middle. To be honest with you, I've never been to Jamaica. My parents are Jamaicans. I've been raised in the whole Jamaican thing. But I've never been to Jamaica. That is a trip that I have to do. I've been to the Caribbean, but never to Jamaica, even though my parents are Jamaicans. Also, where we come from in Bristol, we have a large Jamaican community. There's a large Jamaican community in Bristol. So we have the Jamaican essence there. The food, the music, the culture, it's all there in Bristol without the sun. Reggae is a thing that isn't stifled from England. England, has, from a long time ago, has been getting Jamaican imported music, and it's always been accessible to me. I've always, been listening to it. Like I said, parents getting records. As a teenager, I was getting sound system tapes from Jamaica. So my cousin used to have a big selection, and all the time I would listen to sound system tapes, like Jack Ruby sound system, Gemini sound system, which were big sound systems at the time, Yeah, so, you know, the influence has always been there without actually going to the place. But I will eventually go. At the moment, you know, because we're always busy, we're always touring, haven't had the time.